Open any fan catalog and you meet three pressures: total, static, velocity. Most selection errors that are not about airflow are about picking the wrong one of these three, or comparing one kind against another. This video gives you the working rules, and by the end a fan curve will read like a sentence instead of a puzzle. The physics takes 1 minute. Air moving through a duct carries energy in two interchangeable forms. Static pressure pushes outward on the walls in all directions. You would feel it with your palm flat against the duct wall. Velocity pressure is the energy of motion in the flow direction. You feel it when wind hits your face. Total pressure is simply their sum, always. The three are measured differently, and the differences teach the definitions. A wall tapping perpendicular to the flow reads static, because the moving stream slides past the hole without pushing into it. A tube facing upstream reads total, because the flow stagnates against the opening and gives up its motion. Subtract one reading from the other and you have velocity pressure. That is all a pitot-static probe is, both measurements in one stick. Velocity pressure has a special property the other two lack: it is computable from the airflow alone. For a given duct size, flow fixes velocity, and velocity fixes velocity pressure, rising with the square of the speed. Double the flow through the same duct and the velocity pressure quadruples. You never have to guess it. You can always calculate it. Here is a worked example, illustrative numbers only. Air at 1500 cubic meters per hour through a round duct of 300 millimeters moves at about 5.9 meters per second. Velocity pressure is 1/2 times air density times speed squared, half of 1.2 times 5.9 squared, roughly 21 pascals. Small duct, same flow. At 200 millimeters the speed is 13.3 and the velocity pressure jumps to about 106 pascals. Same air, 5 times the velocity pressure. That example carries the practical lesson: velocity pressure is the price of small ducts. Every pascal of it is energy that must exist as motion and is mostly lost at the final discharge into the room. Oversized ducts waste sheet metal, undersized ducts waste fan energy forever, through exactly this term. Now the fan side. A fan's catalog curve is published as pressure against flow, but you must check which pressure. Total pressure curves include the velocity pressure at the fan outlet, static pressure curves have subtracted it. Neither is wrong, but they differ by exactly the outlet velocity pressure, which at high outlet speeds is a large slice. The classic mismatch works like this. Your duct calculation produces a required static pressure. The catalog shows a total pressure curve. Compare them directly and the fan appears stronger than it is, by the outlet velocity pressure, and the installed system comes up short of air with everyone blaming the fan. The rule that prevents it: compare like with like, convert before you compare. The same discipline applies to measurements on site. Measure static at the fan outlet flange and you have not captured the velocity term racing past your tapping. The energy the fan put into motion is invisible to that reading. This is why commissioning standards specify where and how to traverse a duct, and why one probe reading at one point is an estimate, not a measurement. There is also a recovery story worth knowing, and it explains diffusers. Slow-moving air in a widening duct converts velocity pressure back into static pressure. That is free static, recovered from motion you already paid for, minus friction. A well-made discharge diffuser on a plug fan recovers a useful fraction. An abrupt discharge throws the whole velocity term away. Same fan, different ending, different delivered performance. So when you read a fan curve now, read it in this order. First, which pressure is plotted, total or static, and at what density? Second, where is your duty point, flow, and the pressure your system needs, in the same kind? Third, how far is the operating point from the curve's unstable region? 3 questions, and the curve has told you what it honestly can. The specification rule that summarizes the whole video: state the flow, state the pressure, state which pressure. If you send a duty as airflow plus static pressure plus the note that it is static, any competent supplier can select honestly, and dishonest comparisons become impossible. That one word in your inquiry, static or total, is the cheapest insurance in air handling.